We are.
We're in Haley and Blaine County with,
Lilia.
Ryan.
Lola.
Richter.
Piper.
and what are your ages?
17.
17.
I'm 18.
16.
17.
Cool. And have you experienced climate change in your lifetime?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely.
How so?
We just see the changes in like the snow and like the weather patterns here. They're really different. Things are dry now.
The weather right now, it's the beginning of June, it's dumping rain. Not right now, but it was earlier.
Yeah, just essentially like how all the vegetation has changed is a big part of like what I see.
The river. I see it in the river a lot.
Like what?
Like some years it'll be flooding like it is now, and last year there were places that had no water.
Like bleaching in the coral reefs a lot. Just kind of like a lot of devastation to like wildlife and their habitats.
And how does that impact y'all personally?
Well, we own a ranch, and so when the water is not there or there's too much of it, it can affect like our work. So yeah.
Just like people's houses flooding during the like near the river and stuff. Like I have family friends that were getting water out the bottom of their basements right now, so it's really annoying.
Yeah, I love to do art, and like nature is a big part of my inspiration. So when I don't get to see that all the time or it changes, it takes a little bit of my inspiration, you know?
I get flooding at my house, but I love to go to the river, and every year it's changing, so it's not always fun. And flooding is never fun.
I gotta add on to the flooding. Like my house flooded at the beginning of the season, and it's like we had to strip off all the walls and get mold, and it's just it's a lot of flooding.
When did y'all personally like first learn about climate change?
Probably like in elementary school, but I like got really interested in activism in like high school. Like,
And how was it taught to you? How did you learn about it?
Like the basics through school, but mainly through my family.
Mine was definitely elementary school. I grew up in California, so it was a lot about like the ocean, how it's changing and everything. So
Where in California?
Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I think in like GATE in middle school, we did a lot of projects about sustainability, and then that just kind of inspired me to keep doing it throughout high school.
I probably learned about it like what it was in elementary school, but I didn't learn about it and like how it affects everything till middle school, like in GATE and stuff.
Yeah, definitely elementary school and like going to protests and stuff. Activism at a young age definitely like sparked my interest.
Do you feel like the way it was taught to you like in school was adequate?
I feel like it's almost a little bit outdated now. Like there's so much going on all the time, and school's curriculum isn't really up to date with all the stuff that's happening.
How so?
They don't teach us about salmon and all the stuff that's happening locally. It's more like broad and nationally, which is important, but there's not a lot of ways that we can like, I don't know, they kind of just teach us about like recycling and stuff when there's a lot more that we could be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same feelings. It's like they taught us very like small, locally kind of stuff, and then there's a lot of stuff.
Even in California?
Yeah, because it was more very much towards the ocean. And then when I came here, I was like, oh, there's stuff like the river and like the forest and stuff like that. Like we never talked about. So it's like, oh, we should probably learn about everything about it, and like more stuff you can do than just like the basic 3 R's and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I think it could be like prefaced with like things are constantly changing, like we can constantly update like what we need to do, but this is what's happening right now, kind of thing.
I think schools withhold the severity of climate change a lot of the time. They try to baby it, doctor it for like.
Like how so?
I don't know. They just kind of teach you what it is, like what could happen, but they never like show you the actual effects of it. It's kind of, oh, the world's getting hotter.
As opposed to?
As opposed to, oh my God, people's houses are flooding, the salmon are dying, things like that.
Yeah, I think that there's so much more information that could be discussed in schools about climate change because it's such a important topic that is going to impact our generation, and I think that there's not really a database that is that can allow us to all like see up to date stuff. And I think that like yeah.
What about the changes in like the fire regimes? Have you guys noticed any changes in fire patterns in this area?
Yeah, we got smoke like 2 weeks ago, and we're like, why?
Really? In May?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it
like
was so weird.
It was
We were like,
crazy.
what is
It was, like,
happening?
from, like, Canada.
It's like
Yeah.
what we get in August.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
usually,
so
like,
weird.
Late August is when it's usually here, and it's like the end of May, and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah. And
What
they're
about
just-
long term?
There's like our whole summers are just smoky now, and like
Fires.
we have
Yeah.
fires like all in the hills around
And
us,
then, like,
and
the
people are getting
vegetation
evacuated.
Or like
also
our
dry.
like native vegetation is totally disappearing. Like you can see on some of the mountains that we hike like constantly, a lot of it is just gone.
Yeah, it's all just
It's
sagebrush
all
now,
gone,
and like
and
cheap
everything's
grass.
so dry too, to where it just burns like no other. It just full mountains, just fine. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
lots of evacuations.
Yeah,
Do you guys think there's anything we can do about it?
I mean,
About climate change,
like
not just about fires.
I was like, I'm gonna stop the fires. I got this.
For climate change, I mean, like being a part of like Youth Salmon Protectors is great, and like trying to pass legislation for like clean energy in the future is like, especially here, we're trying to get like clean energy by, is it like
30?
35?
I'm so.
Oh, tell us more about that.
I'm not really sure. You guys did it in water club, like you talked about it, did you?
A little bit.
I just talked to I was just talking
Elizabeth?
for like 30 minutes with the head of Wood River Climate Action, and she said like in Blaine County and like Ketchum, Bellevue, and Haley, they're trying to have renewable energy and clean source energy for like 2035, and like they're all unanimous.
All union made, is that what you said?
Yeah. Wait. Yes, like
Yeah.
all
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Oh, unanimous. Okay, I see it. I see it.
We got there eventually.
I don't think
Yeah.
you can. I don't think one person can change the climate, but it's like everyone has to know about it.
Yeah, I think there just
If
needs
you
to be
just
more
have-
basic education, you know, so it's like a whole like world kind of movement.
And having like the active mindset to just be like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Like we're gonna rock it as a team. We're gonna do it together.
Because there's a lot of people like hear about it, they don't like make any changes towards
Yeah,
their life. They're
just,
like, oh,
like,
someone else will do it.
We
you
like
know?
talk about it, and there's like education, and there is like a
But you
lot
just
of
do put it into
programs that
action.
do outreach and stuff, but I think like if you just go to there, like you gotta keep moving and do more like legislation and stuff like that's actually going to make a difference, because talking about it is great, but we gotta
I think you just need to take action with it. And there's a lot of people who don't take action. They just think somebody else is going to do it for them.
And I think. You go.
Yeah. I think like with the divide within our democracy in a country as a whole, like it's gonna be really hard to approach this, because like as we've seen in the past couple months, like different states, like I'm not gonna name which states, but like have come up with like literal rules, like saying, oh, like you need to have the 10 commandments like in your classroom, blah blah, like, and like stopping like certain AP classes from being taught is gonna like create a more severity of like climate change not being talked about, because everyone's like scared because they don't like know the truth, or, like.
I think the issue is we don't take action, but I don't think we teach about it. We get taught about it well here. It's a big deal, but
Yeah,
places like less agricultural places who don't have to worry about it as much probably don't get taught about it like we do.
yeah, there's like difference in education.
Yeah, we get to live in a
Just
place
depends
that
on what you
like
learn.
shows a lot of the natural beauty that we want to preserve, and I don't think everyone has that perspective all the time. So it's definitely easier for us to be like, yeah, we want to save something like this because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, 'cause you know what it
and-
is and you know how you want to preserve it because you're like, it's beautiful like this. But if you don't really get that experience, they're just like,
There's just not a lot of exposure, I think, in different schools and counties that unfortunately don't have the education to educate like our peers about this situation. And I think that's when we have to start using like social media and like other news outlets and media sources to like spread this information, like what you guys are doing.
So what kind of team action, you mentioned team action or like collective action, what kind of collective action or legislation can be passed to do something about climate change?
Well, like, wait, say the question again.
What kind of legislation or collective action can be taken to do something about climate change?
I mean, like the local legislation for like clean energy and stuff, and then for like regionally with like YSP, like obviously the dams being taken down and stuff can make a really big difference, and like writing letters, and like we did a protest in the fall, and we just wrote letters recently to Murray and Inslee about it. So yeah.
I think like the constant just like showing up as a team makes an impact. Like there's an impact in numbers and showing that you're actually here because you are here and you want to be here to stand up for something, I think is really imperative.
If you had something to say to the governor, what would you say about climate change?
Please care, because we're the people that have to deal with it in the future. I know your generation is older and stuff, but we're going to be feeling the effects in like 30 years, and it's really important to us that we keep like the earth like this, like green,
exactly.
and
it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I want my kids to be able to see like this kind of thing in the future, to be like, yeah, I got to live here and grow up in a gorgeous place like this, so I want to preserve it.
So I'd say, Let's say, what's the law worth if in 20 years there's nowhere to be, like nowhere to live that you enjoy?
I would say, like, you know, like, with democracy in our country, like, listen to our young people, because, like, I don't think there's enough listening to our generation right now, and I think that if you want to, you know, you want, like, people to vote for you and, like, more younger people, like, give us more of an opportunity to speak.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.